Hi, so in this video, we're going to be talking all about submitting to blogs and how to get featured. And it is packed with tips and tricks and everything that I know about submitting to blogs. I actually am so surprised when I learned that majority of my students actually have no idea that you can even submit to blogs for features. This is like such an incredible way to drive a huge amount of traffic to your website and to your work. A lot of my brides, actually I would say, I think last time I checked it's about 70% of my brides come through Pinterest and wedding blogs. And wedding blogs get my photos on Pinterest and get them trending and seen in front of a lot of people on Pinterest. And the main people using Pinterest are people planning weddings, which is crazy. So yeah, obviously it's like a really good and time investment for your business to be able to go through and just maybe once a week or once a month submit your new work to blogs, because it can lead to even if it just leads to one job, I think that's totally worth it. So I'm gonna be walking you through how to go about all of this. So first of all, on every wedding blog website, there is a tab to submit a feature. So you can also just search it and it'll come up if you can't find the tab. Sometimes it's a little bit hidden and it will take you to a page like this. So their pages should basically inform you and educate you about everything you need to know about submitting to them so that you can have the best success rate with them. So it'll talk you through what you can submit, how many photos you should submit for weddings, shoots, or portraits, what the specs of the photos will be. This Junebug Weddings actually has a little link so that you can know how to correctly export images for submission. They talk about their exclusivity rights, if you can post it on your own page versus submitting it to other blogs and things like that. And every single blog is different, so it is really important that you read this information before you go and submit it. Like, some blogs are fine with you submitting to other blogs at the same time, and others ask for exclusivity rights of, like Junebug asks for at least 90 days from once you submit your feature until and it's accepted until you submit it to another. So you want to be giving them, original content that hasn't been seen before. So when you are, like, if you do get a feature and you want to submit it again, just know that this may kind of hurt your chances with the second blog. It might not, and that's totally fine. It just really depends on the blog. So after you're done reading through everything, they'll usually have tips so you can get the best success rate with submitting your work to them. So then you'll just walk through this form. You'll tell them who's submitting, what type of submission it is. You'll give them your information and the couple's information, as well as, the entire event information, whether it was a shoot or a wedding. And then this huge section is the credits. So every wedding blog is going to have a really long page of these vendor credits, because obviously it's so important to credit all of their hard work and talent. I usually don't keep track of any of this except for maybe the videographer, the wedding planner, and the locations. But that's why you give them the couple's email so that they can reach out to the couple for all of these details so that they can properly credit them if they choose to feature the wedding. And then down here, I'll usually just tell them like a few little details of the day that may not be communicated super clearly through the photos or that I want to highlight in the photos. So I'll talk about little moments that I thought were meaningful and things that they did that were unique or stood out, because that is kind of what they're looking for. And then once you get down here, I'll just drop in the link to the photo gallery. I will go through beforehand and kind of slim down my gallery because I don't want to send them, 1,000 photos to go through. That will take them forever to go through. So I'll slim it down to my favorite 100 images, and then send those, because that way they're way more likely to look through the entire gallery and they're not just going to hurry and skim it over. Like, these people are getting thousands of submissions every week. So you want to make things really, really easy for them and make it run smoothly, or else they're going to basically just not even look at your submission. So make sure you slim it down, put it in an online gallery, and paste the link here, and then give them the PIN code, and then you submit it. And it's that easy. This honestly takes less than 5 minutes, and 5 minutes worth of work could mean an entire new wedding booking, or it could mean a lot. I've had tons of success with my submissions with Junebug Weddings. I always love the brides and grooms that come through Junebug Weddings, so I love to submit with them because I just know I love the people who look at their blog. I connect really well with their audience, so I like to consistently submit here first before taking my work anywhere else. Okay, now we're going to be walking through some of the questions that I get asked a lot of the time when I teach about this. So, what type of shoots should I submit? Of course, weddings. The wedding blogs are some of the biggest blogs out there, and so you can have a lot of success with them. So I always submit my weddings. Shoots, of course, they are really fun to submit and have featured, although it is a little bit more rare for certain blogs to accept these types of shoots. So learn about the blogs you're submitting to and what they usually feature and if sessions are relevant. So, Junebug Weddings obviously features sessions, so that's the first place I take my sessions. Style shoots are a really big thing, and most blogs require you to have certain shots to be able to feature them. So, for example, Junebug requires you to include 3 to 5 styled setups, since the point of styled shoots is to give more detail-oriented content than you could get from, a real wedding. So blogs need more than just pretty photos of a couple in the mountains. And then, of course, there are specific blogs that will accept family submissions, newborns, things like that. So you'll have to search for those, but they definitely exist. What photos perform best? So this is a really important thing that I feel like a lot of people skip out on. First off, vertical images. Vertical images perform best on social media, which is what brings traffic to blogs. So when you're going through selecting images for a submission, focus the majority of your images on verticals. So this includes everything from bridesmaid photos to table decor to the ceremony. So when I'm shooting, I'm specifically in the back of my mind thinking, okay, I need to make sure I also get a vertical shot of everything that I get a horizontal shot of that will be relevant to a blog. Of course, storytelling makes for a more compelling blog post, and it will make it a lot more emotional for the viewers, so there will be more of a connection there. So tell a story with how you arrange the gallery for submission. And the storytelling isn't just limited to moments. Their decor decisions were a big part of their day and how they're expressing themselves. So definitely include lots of details. Be intentional about capturing details, as this is a really big reason couples are on wedding blogs in the first place, to look for inspiration in these areas. So when I'm shooting a wedding, I make sure I take lots of detail photos, and of course being sure that I take vertical ones as well. And couples interacting with the decor performs really well for blogs, so keep your eye out for that as well as the wedding day goes on. What are blogs looking for in submissions? So I think it's really important to put yourself in their shoes. Think about a blog. They're a business and they're trying to get clicks on their site. So obviously they're going to be looking for things that are relevant, on trend, new, unique, and will stand out. So think about, from their standpoint, what are they going to see in your blog post? Is it going to be relevant? Is it something that they're going to be really excited about? What do you need to communicate to them so that they understand the unique things about the wedding and what was on trend or new, and just things that would be interesting to them and their readers. Keep up with the latest wedding trends and submit what is relevant, since that is what they are looking for, but blogs are always looking for fresh ways couples are personalizing their weddings to look and feel like their own. Blogs want to show all kinds of people that they feel deserve incredible celebrations worthy of their love, so share diversity. There's really not enough of it in the commercial wedding world, so they're of course looking for more of that. And then, of course, things that are seasonally relevant. If you're going to be submitting something for specific holidays or seasons, it needs to be submitted 2 months prior. That's usually the rule of thumb for blogs. You may need to make sure that you double check with whatever blog you're planning on submitting to first. But I mean, if you're submitting something for Valentine's Day, it then needs to be submitted in December for a blog like Junebug. If it's Halloween, then it needs to be submitted in August, and so on. Learn and observe for success. So the blog already knows what is successful for them, so they're going to pay attention to submissions that align with what has proved to be successful already, obviously. So what does the blog usually feature? Are there patterns? What do you see on their website and in their features that are consistent? Because that is obviously something that has already worked for them and they've accepted that submission. So think about how you can play into that. Think about their audience and what they're looking for. Some blogs may focus more on details while others focus more on storytelling. They know their audience best and they know what they respond to. And so pay attention to those things. You could even, set up a shoot specifically to try and get featured. That's why a lot of people do styled shoots, so that they can get featured and that they can drive a different audience to their website and to their work. So, you could set up this specific styled shoot and know that, okay, these 3 blogs align super well with what I'm going to be doing for this styled shoot. And you can submit it to the biggest one first and then take it over to the other ones if it gets denied. And then making sure that your work is relevant to them and their audience. Do you want their audience to become your potential client? There's times where I, try and dig for what type of articles the blogs are writing. So for example, The Knot, it's a huge wedding blog, like one of the very biggest ones. But something that I don't love that they do, that their readers see, is they write articles about, top 20 checklists for your photographer, or like questions that you should ask your photographer before hiring them, and how to hire a cheap photographer. There's articles like that on there that make me want to just curl up and die. And so I don't want those type of people that are, reading these things and, probably agreeing with them if they're, a subscribed reader, things like that, to be hiring me, because that doesn't align with my values of what I want my potential clients to have. And so I'm making sure that they align with me. There are also blogs that specifically don't accept certain types of submissions depending on the couple, which to me is something I also disagree with. So there are blogs that won't accept same-sex weddings. That is something, you need to be aware of. So I don't know, just make sure that you are submitting to blogs who you feel like align with your brand and your values, because that way your audience is, and I mean their audience who could potentially become your audience and clients, will align with you. And then of course, don't get discouraged And then, of course, don't get discouraged and don't take it personally if a blog turns down your submission. It usually has nothing to do with the quality of your work and everything to do with what will perform better for them, as they are a business and are making decisions based off of clicks and performance. And it doesn't mean that they didn't like your work or the wedding. It just means they need to keep their online real estate open to features that will perform well for them. All right, on to extra tips. So these are just a few things that I've noticed as time goes on that have helped me with submissions. Know what the submission rules are. First of all, that's kind of a no shit thing, but you have no idea how many people completely ignore these things. Read through them, because if you're making their jobs harder, they're not going to be wanting to submit your work. So make things as easy as possible. Downsize your galleries to the recommended sizes and, deliver those vertical images. Make sure that you're resizing the images for them if that's something they require. And yeah, just make it so that it's not a hassle for them to work with you. Connect them with wedding planners and brides. Junebug is nice because they have a section specifically for that, but for other blogs like Green Wedding Shoes, they don't have a form where you fill out your bride's information. So blah, blah, your bride's information. And so in the description box, I make sure to include the couple's information so they can connect with them and get details faster instead of going back and forth with me. I just include that in the initial submission. And once a submission is turned down, I submit to another blog. So I'll start at my very favorite blogs, the biggest ones that I have had success with, that I feel aligned with my values. And then if it gets turned down there, I will take it to another blog. And then once it gets turned down there, I take it to another. And I kind of work my way down until I get to the point where I'm submitting to just local blogs. And maybe you start at local blogs, like maybe you don't want to travel. So that's totally fine. You can just submit straight to local blogs, but you can do the same process with like the most well-known blogs in your area, down to the least well-known. And then something else that is also really good to know is if you want to travel, submit to local blogs in the areas that you want to travel to. So say you want to shoot a wedding in Hawaii, then you're gonna need to be submitting your photos that, I mean, if you're submitting a winter wedding to Hawaii, that's pretty stupid. They're obviously not gonna feature it, but you know, if you have a beach wedding or something like that, submit it to the Hawaii one because they could totally feature it. If you want to shoot a wedding in Italy or something like that, submit something that would be relevant to blogs in Italy because they're, you know, not going to take a beach wedding maybe, unless maybe they will. I don't know. You just need to learn and observe those blogs. And then something that I think is fun is trying to submit to wedding blogs that also do print. I love being featured in magazines. I think that there is a stronger connection when things are printed out between the reader and the images, of course. So I love submitting to blogs that also have printed magazines because I think that I can make better connections with people, and it is just kind of cool to see your work printed in a magazine and start collecting those. And then finally, remember to shoot for your couple, not for your own personal gain. I think a lot of people can get caught up in, you know, while they're shooting a wedding, like, oh, I need to be shooting this for the blog, and oh, I need to be doing this for a feature and things like that. And please don't do that. And I know that probably isn't the case for most people, but don't be a psychopath. You are there for them. You are there for your couple, for your client. Be present for them. And, you know, if there's great details, definitely shoot them, but document it with the intention of creating meaningful memories for your couples and for their wedding day.